All right, guys, today we're in 7.1, writing expressions and equations. With today's lesson, we're not solving anything, okay? So good news, you don't have to come up with an answer. All we're doing is translating. We're going from words to numbers and from numbers to words. We're just kind of going back and forth. So the first thing you need to know is the key words for your different operations. You know, what words mean adding, what words mean subtracting, multiplying and dividing. The good news is that this chart is in your book on page 317, so you don't have to write down every single one of these words. What you do need to write down is what I'm highlighting in pink, and that's this last sentence down here. When you see the word than, you need to reverse the order of the expression, and I'll explain that in more detail in a minute. Okay, so now let's just kind of test your knowledge on some of these things. Okay, so which operation is the difference of addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? Go ahead and answer all 7 of these. You don't have to write down what's on the screen, just answer each one of them. You can abbreviate, that would be fine. All right, so number 1, what's number 1 going to be? Subtraction. What about number 2?
Division.
Number 3?
Multiplication.
Number 4?
Subtraction.
Number 5? Number 6? And number 7? Add. Very good. All right, so how does that all come together? Well, here's what it looks like. I'm going to have a phrase and I need to write it as an expression. So anytime I see the words a number, all right, you see me underlining those words, a number, I'm going to replace those 2 words with a variable. So a number increased by 5. So what operation would connect my variable and my number? Increased by a plus sign. And that's it. N plus 5. So I take the phrase and I write it as an expression. But remember what I said in the first slide about the word less than? What did I say about less than that you wrote down? What happens to the order? You reverse it. So now instead of 7 coming first, it's going to come second. Because it's less than a number, I'm taking it from that number, it's got to come second. Okay, 7 less than a number. Same thing goes with more than, same thing goes with fewer than. Anytime you see that word than, the word than, you're going to reverse the order. So look at C. 3 more than twice a number. Well, there's a couple different things going on here. You see the words more than, so is 3 going to come first or second? Second. I've got to reverse it. All right? So 3 more than, and then how would I write twice a number? Okay, n with a 2, but remember we don't write it n2. We don't use a dot. We don't use parentheses. We just write it 2n. So what if I said 4 times a number? How would you write it? 4n. What if I said 5 times a number? 5n. Okay, 2n plus 3. All right, and then of course they get a little bit more involved, each one. Now let's look at D. 4 decreased by the quotient of a number and 7. So let's just start at the beginning. 4 decreased by, how do I write that? 4 minus, now it says the quotient of a number and 7. Well, quotient out here up front gives me the hint as to what operation. Where I see the word and is where it's actually plugged in. So of a number and 7, I can actually write it of a number and 7 as a fraction, or I can write it division. Order of operations tells me which do I do first. Do I subtract first or divide? I divide. So if I was actually solving this, I'd have to divide first before I subtract. All right. Okay, so hopefully it's kind of setting in a little bit. You're following along, but maybe still have some questions. I want you to practice these 4. Okay, so these are very similar to what we just did in example 1. I want you to try these. Guys, so what did you put? What is it? N minus 17. Did you reverse it? Fewer than? Okay, because it's fewer than, you got to reverse it. What about B? Quotient of a number in 7. And divided by 7. Very good. And you can write it either way. What about C? 6 times n plus 3. And D? Okay, and how did you write it? Did you write it 4n?
Yes.
No multiplication sign, no parentheses, no little x, just 4n. Okay? If you show a multiplication sign between a number and a variable, I'm taking off points, okay? You don't need it. You don't need it. All right, so now example 2. Let's see. In example 2, now I'm translating a verbal sentence. Well, what does it mean to have a verbal sentence? It means that there's an equal sign. So on letter A, which word do you think represents the equal sign? Which word?
Is.
Very good. What about on B? Equals. What about on C? Is. And then on D? Equal to. Okay, so those are my key words for equals. So everything before the is on A goes on the left side of the equals, and after goes on the right side. 16 increased by a number. Go ahead and write that in your notes. How would I represent that expression? 16 increased by a number. How do I write that? Noah, how'd you write it? 16 increased by a number. Still figuring it out? Manual?
16 plus n.
16 plus n equals 27. All right, so it's just one more step, but now I'm actually pulling together an entire equation. Look at B. The difference of twice a number and 3 equals -4. That's a mouthful. But now let's just pick it apart. The difference of, okay, so here's my key word, difference. What does that mean? It means subtraction, and I know I plug it in where I see the word and. So how do I represent twice a number? How do I write twice a number? 2n. And it's, what now? What did you say it was? Subtract n, or 3, equals -4. You see how we're kind of piecing it together? I want you to try C. Do you think they know? Deja? Very good. I can tell you were trying to say multiplied by, but you knew you weren't supposed to. 1/2 n, right? Because a number and a variable next to each other, that's multiplication. I don't have to say times n, all right? I know that's automatic. 1/2 n equals 36. Who got that right? 1/2 n equals 36. All right, questions? Only about half of you. All right, look at D. -3 is equal to. How would I write that? -3 is equal to. Write it on your papers. So, guys, I hope you can see that we basically piece these together. We don't read the whole thing and just automatically know what the equation is going to be. We have to piece it together. Just start at the beginning. -3 equals. Now we have this twice the sum. Twice the sum. Well, this is what we call two operational words that are right next to each other. Do you agree? Twice is multiplication, sum is addition. So anytime we see two operational words right next to each other with no number in between, that means we're going to have parentheses. Twice the sum, 3 times the sum, 3 times the difference, twice the difference. All right? Those double operational words mean that there are parentheses. I want you to fill in what do you think belongs inside the parentheses. Fill it in. What'd you fill in? N plus 2?
Yes.
Yeah, a number and 2. The sum of a number and 2. All right, let's practice a few. Okay, I want you to practice these 4. Let's see who can get them right. All right, so 14 added to a number equals 28. That's going to be 14 plus n equals 28. Half of a number decreased by 22 is 36. 42 divided by a number equals 7. 5 minus twice a number equals 17. All right, so that's how I write phrases as expressions and equations. We're going to go the other way. What if I had the expression 5 plus g and I wanted you to write it using words? So now we're going to go the other way. And don't say in your expression 5 plus g. That's not writing it in words. 5 plus, and then what words will we use to represent the variable in our phrase? What have we been seeing in all of our other examples? 5 plus. Very good. All right, go ahead and do these 3. Your answers are going to be different. They're not all going to be the same operational keyword, because for addition, there's several words that can mean addition. So our answers aren't going to be the same. Right, so how did you write number 1? How'd you write number 1?
Plus a number.
5 plus a number. That's pretty simple. 5 added to a number. A number more than 5.
That's what I did.
Lots of different ways to write it. I just wrote 5 plus a number. What about number 2? 4 times a number. All right, 4 multiplied by a number. The product of 4 and a number. Lots of different ways. 4 times a number. What about number 3?
A number taken from 3.
Nope, that's not right. All right, 3 less than a number. Ooh, could I say that way? Yeah, because I'm taking it from the number, or just a number minus 3. Okay. All right, so what if it's a whole sentence now? All right, so you're going to have equals or is in there. Go ahead and try these. Number 4, 2 times a number equals 8. Who got it? 2 times a number equals 8. Good. All right, what about number 5?
7
Blake?
subtracted from twice a number equals 10.
Okay, that'll work. 7.
Remove.
Why are you coming up with all these fancy words? Minus. Twice a number equals 10. All right. What about number 6? Yeah, a number plus 2 equals 18. Could I say 2 more than a number equals 18? Yeah. All right, good job, guys. Now, the last section you're going to see on your homework tonight is more like these real-world examples. I thought I'd have a little bit of fun with it. And yes, this is true. She's not 5 years, though. She's 3. I figured it out. All right. So you're going to have 4 questions on your homework tonight that just basically give you more or less a real-life phrase, and you need to write it as an expression. Well, you don't know how old I am, or do you? Some of you might remember. But she is 3 years older than me. So how would you write that as an expression with me, my name, being the variable? Okay, how would you write it as an expression? And then number 8's maybe a little more clear, just twice a team's score. I don't know why it didn't finish writing. Hold on. Twice a team's score. There we go. All right, go ahead and write these expressions. Okay, so how would I write it? K, maybe? K for kinder? K plus 3? How would I write number 8? 2N. Or 2S for score. All right. Now, on your homework, they want you to basically say why you picked the variable you picked. So, say I picked S for score, K for kinder, whatever it is. That should be everything you need to know, guys. 7.1 is done.